Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 9 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, let me just fill you in on what's been happening here. I came across this story. It's something that happened here in Connecticut, but I just want to say a lot of times when I do videos that have to do with my home state, Connecticut, they tend to get a lot less views. So don't turn off the video. I think this pertains to people all across this whole country, without a doubt. Okay, so I saw this story. It's about a 32-year-old CO, a correction officer here in Connecticut. A 32-year-old William Lucky, I believe his name is. And this incident happened on a Connecticut highway. I believe it was a few days ago, probably over the weekend. And he was just charged as of, I think, Tuesday with murder. I had to check the time really quick right there if I could actually start talking about, so I don't get yellow lighted here for my monetized video. Okay, like I said, so he just got charged for murder. Let me describe the incident to you. This whole thing has been on my mind for the last couple of days. This is one of the times when I'm glad I have a YouTube channel, and I'm not, don't get the impression that I'm trying to lecture or I think I'm right, or I'm trying to, show people the light or anything like that. It's not like that. It's sometimes I feel like the reason I'm still here after all the years of close calls with my addiction, the reason I feel I'm here is if I could just share some of the stuff I've learned with even just one person. If it could, if it could help out just one person, not even change their life, but just something to make a difference. And this story seems like that story. So I was just on the treadmill and I kept thinking about this story, and I stopped my workout right in the middle and came down to make this video. That's how much this has been on my mind. Okay, here's what happened. 32-year-old corrections officer William Lucky is on Interstate 691 in Meriden, Connecticut. This is a very small state. Meriden's right about smack middle in Connecticut. I've traveled it many times. This whole area, it's the northeast corridor here. We have a lot of traffic. It tends to be a crazy highway. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so it was during the later hours, I think probably around midnight, I believe. I'm not sure. I think it was overnight. The links will be down below. And somebody cut somebody off. All right, it's not clear because each person in these cars claim, and that's what I wonder, because one of these people is no longer living. So I was wondering if there was somebody else in the car that's making this claim about cutting each other off, but you could check out. Doesn't really pertain to what I'm going to say. Okay, so they're saying that they cut each other off. All right, they both end up pulling over in busy highway and getting out of their vehicles. Two men, including 32-year-old William Lucky, corrections officer. He has I assume he's got a pistol permit, and he claims that he thought that the other person was going to pull a gun, and he ended up firing, and the other driver is now deceased. It didn't quite end there. William Lucky left the scene of this incident, and the reason he said he did this is because his 3-year-old child was in the car, and he was worried about something happening to his 3-year-old child. Okay, where to start with this one? I don't have kids, but this got me a little angry. Where and apparently too, the gunshots were in the body, the head. William Lucky stood over this man and made sure of what he was fired everywhere, including the head of this man. And I see this, and I don't know if it makes me angry or what. This guy's claiming that he left. First of all, that he's driving crazy with a 3-year-old in the car in the first place, and then chances are his 3-year-old saw his father do this to another man, stand over him, and end his life, and then William Lucky has the audacity to say that the reason he left is because he was worried about his 3-year-old son. All right, I didn't plan on lecturing here, but I want to share something with you that I've been clean and sober for over 17 years. And believe me, in the first 5 or 6 years, I've talked about this in my videos before, I had a hard time controlling my emotions. You know, my emotions were the opiates I used stifled all my emotions. And when I first got clean and sober, I would cry. I told you guys before, I would cry watching a dog food commercial. You know, I'd get into rages. You know, having my emotions just all come back out. I had a hard time dealing with them. And that included road rage incidents. I can remember in the first few years jumping out of my car in the middle of a busy intersection. Yeah, me. I don't know. It's hard for me to even picture myself doing this. I stopped the car, busy intersection, just start screaming, come on, come on, F this, F that, and, I see, God knows who sees me. I mean, it could be my next door neighbor. It could be, somebody I worked for, somebody that's hired, and I'm standing in the middle of the intersection like a lunatic screaming. Okay, this is what changed my life, the way I look at things, and it has to do with recovery. And it's very simple, and you guys have probably heard this before. It's something like the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this kind of goes along with that. And this is what I once I started getting this in my head, it stopped me from doing stuff like this. It stopped me from these rage incidents. And it's very simple. It's just, I cannot control. No matter what I do, it's not going to change the way other people act, or what they do, or what they say, or how they drive. I have no power over that. People are going to do what they're going to do. Nothing I do is going to change the only thing that I can control is the way that I react to it. Now, I know you guys have probably heard this before, but once, I actually put it into work in my life, and it's brought me, I swear to God, it's brought me so much peace or serenity, if you will. Then sometimes people like this, like William Lucky, they'll say this, that I meant to teach him a lesson. I wanted to teach him a lesson. A guy actually said that to me. I was driving on my mountain bike, and this truck came right within inches of me, and I actually caught up to him at the stoplight, and I was fuming. I was like, "You could almost kill me. What's wrong with you?" And he says this, because I accidentally, my glove got stuck on the brake lever, and I kind of pulled out in front of him on my bicycle. I mean, he was like 100 feet away, but still. And he said this, he said he wanted to teach me a lesson. That's what he told me. So because I pulled out accidentally in front of him on my bike, and he almost hit me, he then purposely goes to pretend to hit me, to teach me a lesson. And now think about this. Use empathy, or walking in somebody else's shoes. All right. Now say that was you. Would somebody teach you a lesson? Say you accidentally cut somebody off tomorrow, right? And the other driver all of a sudden came up on you and then cut you off. Are you going to go, "Oh, wait a minute, I get it now. I see what's going on here. That was me. He should, wow. I got to be more careful. Thank you for showing me that. In other words, this whole thing about teaching somebody else a lesson, that's complete bull. It's complete crap. If anything, the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to escalate the situation. Now, picture this. During this whole thing, when William Lucky is riding in his car with his 3-year-old child now, right? And now he's been arrested for murder. What if what I said, about, just let it go. You can't control this person who's going to do what they're going to do, and so he cut you off. All right. The best thing to do is let it go. Just let it go. Hang back so he has lots of room, and let him go on his way. And within 5 minutes, him and his child would be on their way, and they would have ever forgotten anything would have happened. The whole thing about teaching him a lesson, that was pointless. It just escalated the situation. Now look at the situation. That kid is chances are, William Lucky, his father, is looking at 10, 20, 30, maybe 30 years, considering how much how many bullets he emptied into this guy. I hope I can say that. And now what about his child? his child is going to be without a father just because, his father wanted to teach somebody a lesson because of, it's ridiculous. And this is why I want to talk about it. Just let it go. Just let it go. And then this is another thing that I've learned. Like after I lost Audrey, my soulmate, my girlfriend, my soulmate, I lost her to COVID 2 years ago. And whenever I start worrying about something, like I'm worried I'm going to get my bills paid on time, or buying a new car, or making, whatever, losing her put things in perspective of how short we're all here. I think about how she passed and how quickly she was gone, how quickly I'm going to be gone. I'm 58 years old. How many more years do I have on this earth? And you think about the magnitude, you think about priorities, and then you think about stuff like that and telling people you love them and how quickly this is all going to be over and we're all going to be gone from this earth sooner than we know it. And then think about this whole thing with getting cut off in traffic and how stupid that was and how minute in the whole big picture of everything that this guy, it's just a tiny little fraction of a second of your life. And, the way, if you just ignored it, the way you reacted to it could change everything. And besides that, like I said, the priorities, if you look at the big picture, of how quickly this whole life is going to be gone, or how we could lose people, and then how we tend to worry about this little pointless stuff that we can't even change anyway, like getting cut off in traffic. I really hope I made a point here. Like I said, I actually stopped my workout in the middle because I really want to talk about this. The whole thing with his son, you have to read the article yourself. I hope I don't get yellow lighted already, but I couldn't believe what he did, how he emptied the gun into this other person. It leaves me speechless over getting cut off, over somebody probably accidentally pulling in front of you. And look at what's come out of that now. Look how many lives that's going to change. His son, without a doubt, and perhaps his son's son, and his son. It's going to change. You took something that was just minuscule, and it could have been forgotten in 5 seconds. Getting cut off, and you turned it into a nightmare of poisoning people's lives and affecting people's lives for generations to come, quite possibly. I hope I made a point today. Just remember it. Really, you can't change you can't change what people are going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to say what they're going to say. They're going to drive how they're going to drive. The only thing you can change is the way that you react to it. Let it go. Let it go, man. All right. I'll be back later with another video. Have a good Wednesday.